that stick. I only have 4 here, so you can... Oh, kick ass, right on. So when you hear all that stuff, and you have to think about this when you hear your favorite drummers, you're hearing their gene pool, you're hearing their DNA, and you're going like, oh, I see how, he has that in his gene pool, And there's a lot of drummers where, I'll see somebody like Keith Carlock, who definitely has a voice. And I'm watching it, and I'm so into it. I'm like, oh, this guy's so original and so cool. And then for a split second, I get a glimpse at something in his gene pool that I recognize. And I go, oh, he must have been into Dave Weckl at some point, or he must have been into this or that. Or even some of the other, I guess, pop, rock drummers. And you'll see like an early influence, like, okay, this guy's one of the greatest drummers in the world. But at some point, he was into Ricky Rocket. Because look at that. Like, that's so left over from the 80s. And it's so cool to see that in somebody's genes. So I hope you recognize that you have that. And you don't have to, you don't have to feel bad about being influenced by people. Anytime I see a video of myself on YouTube, which I don't watch a lot of, so please don't do the thing. Everywhere I go, people are like, hey, you know that video in 8 minutes and 14? No, I don't know that video. I don't watch my own videos. But if somebody points something out, I go, oh, that must have been that time that I was really obsessed with that, Yellow Jackets record. I can really hear that Will Kennedy influence going on. So this is something you don't know. And since we have an intimate setting, might as well talk about it. But just now, that was my very first drum solo at a clinic ever. I've never done a drum solo at a clinic.
Yeah.
You guys like that part where I did that stick trick? That was pretty cool, right? Yeah. Toss the stick to the kids is one of the new tricks I'm working on, and I was really stoked to get it in the first note I played. That's not normal. I usually wait and build up till I throw it at the kids, but I was pretty stoked on that. So it's real life. Nobody was hurt, and hey, rock and roll. So, but, I've always, if you've been to one of my clinics, you're like, no, that's not true. I've seen you solo. You've seen me solo in a track. To something that had hits and stabs and that created a vibe for me. I was already inside this world of this Latin track or this track in 7/8, and it put me inside of a box, and I was able to be creative. And then when I sat down on the drum set and I was like, all right, I'm doing clinics, it's time for drum solos, I was paralyzed. I was paralyzed by the options. I have so many options in front of me. I've got cymbals, I've got bell of cymbal, I've got drums, tom, snare, kick, hi-hat. This thing turns off. I don't know what it does, but okay, it does that. And, and I've seen somebody do this. I don't know what that means. And there's there's one of those in there somewhere. So there's so many options just on sound. Then rhythm, billions of rhythms. Take all your subdivisions, start chopping them up. What about tempo? I don't know where to start. So there's so many options, I become paralyzed. And I'm guessing that if I brought one of you up here right now, an accomplished drummer, and said solo right now, you'd kind of have that same feeling like, what tempo? Loud, quiet, swing, straight? I don't know. And you're paralyzed by the amount of options you have in front of you. And that's really normal. So I thought, well, I've got this thing at Dom Bennett's coming up. I'm going to start that clinic with a drum solo since I've never done it. And I'll be scared out of my mind. And by doing that, I'll be able to pay attention to what it took to create a drum solo. And I'm going to study the heck out of it as I'm going through the process so I can teach it to other people. And what I noticed was the more restrictions I put on the solo, the more creative I got. Think about if I gave you guys a mansion and said, okay, go ahead and furnish that mansion. And here's $1 million too, just because things have been really good at Mike'sLessons.com lately, so here's $1 million, and spend wisely. How creative would you have to be in that mansion? Not at all. You'd be like, Billy, bed over there. It's the bathroom, sir. It doesn't matter. I've got 46 bathrooms. Bed over there. Just drop the furniture anywhere. But if I took you and put you in a 500 square foot studio apartment in London and said, all right, bathroom, kitchen, living space, entertaining space, go. Do you know how creative you would have to be with those limitations? You'd have to make storage under your bed. You would have to put up curtains to divide areas. You would have to force yourself so hard to be creative because of your limitations. So I think instead of saying, the world is open to you, go ahead, drum away, I actually don't think, at least for me, that hasn't worked. But putting limitations on myself has worked really well, and I've seen a lot of growth in my own playing. And I'm hoping that it'll do the same. So I'm going to give you guys 2 exercises to work on. Take them home. Tell mom, tell pops, tell wife, tell husband, look, this just has to happen tonight. deal with it. You know, do the thing where you're like, I swear I won't ask for anything for Christmas, New Year's Eve, trick or treat, like just wrap it all into one and let me play tonight. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you to go home and be inspired. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to go home and I want you to create a drum solo out of a massive limitation. This limitation is going to be limited on subdivision and on orchestration. So I need you to create a drum solo out of 4 quarter notes: kick, snare, rack, floor. Kick, snare, rack, floor. That's it. That cannot stop. That cannot change. So it can't be kick, what? Snare, rack, floor. It has to be kick, snare, rack, floor. So you're very, very limited. And in that, you'll have to be forced to be creative. I mean, how cool can this be on its own? By the way, I'd like to thank the good folks at Mapex for providing me with a 1-hour endorsement. As you know, I am a grunge artist, but for this hour, I'm a Mapex artist. Thank you, Mapex. I'm sure that's going to be on YouTube later today. Just sealed by fate. All right. So in that, you can mess with the volume, but you can add anything. This just can't stop. What the goal is that I should be able to be at your house with you saying, you know, kick, snare, rack, floor. Kick, snare, rack. And no matter what you do, that's still there. Rack, floor. Kick, snare, rack, floor. Kick, snare, rack, floor. Kick, snare, rack, floor. Kick, snare, rack, floor. Now, your show-off flicks aren't going to work in this. Your YouTube Mike Johnston showed me this peppermint crossover bizzle bizzle. It won't work. So you're going to have to be creative. I saw Aaron Spears do this with Usher. Won't work. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to really focus on feel and volume. I'm the craziest drummer on the earth. This is something where you go, oh, man, that was kind of enjoyable to listen to. This isn't about being the man. This is about making something where when Ant, what's your last name? Soltero. Soltera? That's awesome. Soltero. Okay. So when Aunt Soltero comes over, and she's like, what's your first name? David. And she's like, David, will you play me a drum solo? You think Aunt Soltero wants to hear? Heck no. Aunt Soltero doesn't know what that is. That's hubba dubba. That's just. But you give Aunt Soltero a little, oh. And she's like, ooh. And you're like, yeah. Sit back, Aunt, because I'm coming for you. And then she digs that, and she thinks that that's the spice because she doesn't play drums. She's so proud of you, little David, and she's stoked. And you give her a little. Oh. And Aunt Soltero's in it to win it. And then, just like a 1920 stripper, you show a little leg, you take that leg right back. So you give Aunt Soltero. And then take that leg right back. And she wants more of it. She wants to see more. And you give it to her. Yeah. And that, I mean, that's, to me, that's drum solo. When people are like, oh, and they're leaning forward. And then you give them something like, you gotta be kidding me. And that's what it's about. And I think you guys can do that. I mean, if you think about what I just played, was there anything in there that you couldn't play right now? I didn't do anything cool. It's just because I'm being forced to be creative. I've got this huge set of restrictions on me. Now I want to talk about one more set of restrictions, and then I'll play a track, and then we'll get on to Thomas Lang. How are we doing on time, guys? None of you guys deal with the time. You're like, hell, kick drum sounds great. Right on. Okay, so, thank you. All right, on. Well, whoever is in charge of time, just give me one of these jobbies when it's 10 to go, and I'll wrap it up so we can get to Thomas Lang. So, you know, another restriction might be something like orchestration, you know, where you're putting things. So you're saying, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to go from snare to rack to hi-hat to floor, from snare to rack, and I'm going to solo on each. Something else that a lot of people struggle with, and I don't think people realize how great the power of memorizing a pattern can be, is creating a drum solo out of a pattern, a set pattern of stickings, of kicks, rights, and lefts. So I'm going to give you this, and for anybody that forgets any of this stuff for any reason, just find me after the clinic and I'll like write it on your chest or whatever you need. So this is kick, right, left, left, right, left. It's 8 notes long. 8 notes. Kick, right, left, left, right, left. That's it. That's your restriction. No other restrictions apply. Apply at the window. So all you need to do is think, okay, I'm going to memorize that. Now in the beginning, you're going to memorize it as is. Great about a restriction is the boredom will set in. Now you know you can't break any rules, you can't change that, but you can play as fast as you want, you can play as slow as you want, you can break that rhythm up. I didn't say what you had to hit your leg. Your leg is an awesome rest. It makes a rest sound. So if I split my hands like this, that's the same pattern. And then if I alternate my right hand between my leg and my snare, I get some really cool rest that I'm probably not smart enough or hip enough as a drummer to pull off. So I'm still going to play the pattern, but the audience will get the rests. So if I have... I would have never come up with that sound on my own, but my leg, being a rest sound, came up with that. So there's so much you can do. But it's a restriction, it's a box. So I'll kind of show you some ideas. For me, when I work on stuff like this, I definitely work out things on purpose first. So I say, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to cross my hands over every other time. And then I'm going to try to do it as 8th note triplets against the pulse. And then I'm going to try to do this. And then once I have a little bit of vocabulary, then I take it and say, okay, now it's heat check time. Can I just sit down and make this happen? So I'll kind of show you some examples. And I hope that you'll try to pay attention to the pattern. In your head, try to think kick, right, left, kick, right, left, kick, right, left, kick, right, left, right, left. Because if I hit a kick and then I chill, I got to get in a right, left, kick, right, left. Kick, right, left, kick, right, left. And so I got to stick to the pattern no matter what. All that being said, guys, you got 2 things to work on when you go home. Make a solo out of kick, snare, rack, floor. This is all for your aunt or your uncle. They're going to dig it, I'm telling you. And then once you have that done, you can break the rules once you can stick to the rules. Then you can go, ka, doom, doom, go, down, raka, doom, saka, doom, take it, glad, do, glad, do, glad, do, glad, do, glad, te, oh, ka, saka, doom, doom. You know, you can break it once you can stick to it, and it'll really make your solo a lot more enjoyable than, by the way, these are all the fastest notes that I know. Like, it's cool. It's cool being on, you know, in a Ferrari at 200 miles an hour, but at some point, if you're on a road in a Ferrari at 200 miles an hour, at some point, doesn't the inertia wear off and you're just sitting still? So, I mean, you guys do know that we're traveling at like 14,000 miles an hour through our solar system right now, so, but it doesn't feel like much to us because we've always been doing it. But if somebody was like, oh, by the way, stop the solar system and start, we'd be like, oh my God! It'd be the craziest thing in the world. So you have to stop the solar system every once in a while and then start it back up. And that will give you the ability to do that stuff. All right, I'm going to play a track for you now. This is a fusion thing that I did. And the reason why I'm playing this, and this will be kind of the end of my clinic, the reason why I'm playing this is because the fusion guitar player came to me and he wanted a restriction. He wanted a restriction as the solo. And it was really cool because I was kind of in this concept already, and his restriction was he wanted quarter notes. And then just drum solo, but that never stops. And I was like, are you serious, dude? Like, that's my cool hand. That's where all the cool stuff comes from. Why are you limiting my cool hand? You know, right hand, I mean, that's the hubba bubba, but the cool stuff's over here. So, you know, I mean, talk about being forced to be creative. I had to sit there, in the beginning, I literally couldn't even play in between it. It was like, you know, and I was right into home bass. Whatever your home bass groove is, that's where I would go. And it took a really long time to just hit one hit. All right. Really tough stuff. So I'll play that for you, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And by the way, thanks for being here, guys. I mean, this is the intimate stuff. We're going to have fun out there, but this is, to me, what it's all about. This is why I started Mike's Lessons in the first place. You guys already know what that is, so I'm not going to spiel on it. As far as gear to me is like religion. If you're a Ludwig guy, I'm not talking you off that ledge, so it's not my job to. You know what gear I play. If you have any questions about it, I'll be around all day. Just ask me. I'd rather do that than drop, 9 minutes of, and just so you know, this is the extra lathe, sweetenized, double bell, like, whatever. Like, just ask me, I'll be happy to tell you.
6, 7 minutes.
Seriously, bro, I'm trying to get some work done. You're all playing here with a 6-7 minute thing, not helping the concentration. All right. By the way, give it up for the kick drum sound expert. How good is this kick drum sound? He's got one mic, dude. Killing it. Killing it.
That's pretty awesome.
All right, guys. Here we go. have a blast today. Please soak in the amazing talent that's around you, for sure. I mean, how often do you get to like be hanging out and be like, this guy's pretty, holy crap, that's Thomas Lang. You know, like, that's pretty rad. That you just like, you think you're just standing next to somebody like, oh, that's Tim Alexander. Oh my God. So soak in that for sure. But that's rare. This that you have right here, this is more normal. These are the drummers that are around you. Soak this in. Get phone numbers. Make friends. Do me one favor. One huge favor. This is the last thing I'll say, and we'll get Thomas Lang up here. You guys know that I kind of come from a YouTube background, which has its strengths and weaknesses. I almost threw up in my mouth a little there. It's a pretty big breakfast, I won't lie. Oh, right on. That'll help. Now it'll be soupier when I throw up. Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, you guys know I come from a YouTube background. I'm sure you know of the hatred and the chaos that is on YouTube, and it's pretty insane. A great drummer will put up a video and it's just nonstop, you suck, all that stuff. Travis Barker's better, my brother's faster, whatever. We're used to that. It's not a problem. Problem is, we've got guys that are starting to play right now and don't know about that world. And they're in their late 30s, late 40s, late 50s, or maybe they're kids. And they're going to make a video of themselves doing their very best, the best they can do, playing a cover tune, playing anything. And they're going to put it up on YouTube to show their friends. And what's going to happen? They're going to get slammed. You suck, you're a loser, your hi-hats are whack, why do you play Zildjian instead of Sabian, whatever. It's just constant negativity. Well, to us that grew up with YouTube, it's like, par for the course. To somebody that's brand new to it, they're going to quit our instrument. We're going to lose a family member. They're going to take that drum set back to Don Bennett and say, you know what, I'll try soccer instead. Like, I don't want to do this. This is insane how much hatred is out there. So do me a favor. When you get home today, you're not going to stop the hatred and the negativity. That can't be done. That comes from insecurities. What you can do is you can overpower it with positive comments. So find a YouTube video, any video. I don't care how good the guy is or how bad the guy is. Find that video and just say something nice, because you don't know. You might actually save a family member, and we get a new drummer for the rest of our lives in this cool community that we have, just because you said, man, your hi-hats are crisp. That's all that dude needed. He just needed one thing that didn't tell him how bad he sucked. Because you know what? He doesn't suck. She doesn't suck. This is the day that person started, and this is Buddy Rich at the end. Every one of us in this room is in between somewhere. So who cares? You're not worse than me. You're not better than me. You're just somewhere else on the timeline. You're either where I used to be, or you're where I hope to be someday. Amen. So it's my job, if you're before me in the timeline, it's my job to go back in time and remember what my limbs felt like at that time. And go, man, dude, you're doing great. Keep at it. Those double strokes do take a long time to get over the hump. Just give them some encouragement. Can you guys do that today?
Yeah. Amen.
I appreciate it. I will let the powers that be get up here and take over, but you're in for a treat, because not only is the next guy one of the best drummers in the world, I've really been lucky to get to know him over the past couple months, and he might be one of the best people in the world, and that's saying a lot right now in our industry. So I'll give you back to one of the greats, Dom Famularo. Thank you, guys.
Once again, Mike Johnston, let's hear it for him. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Great job, great message. Well, Mike started off with a real intense amount of power with what you're about to hear. You know, I had the chance this past September of playing a national clinic tour in Australia with Thomas Lang and Dave Weckl. And we went out there and hit each city, and it was pretty intense as far as the people that we met and the early morning flights and the setups with 3 drum sets on stage and sound checks. It was just an absolutely wonderful time to spend together. Then we were only back shortly after Australia for a couple days, and we met up in Spain at a festival in Spain called the La Rioja Drumming Festival, which had a masterclass during the day to about 700 people, and the evening festival had 2,500 people. So Thomas was up there and slayed them not only in Australia, but slayed them in Spain. There's a lot of dead drummers now laying around those countries because of Thomas, but we've actually revived them all. They're back in action. They're wounded, but they're back in action. Well, what's amazing is that Thomas has continued to be a leader in the community that has totally changed how we see drumming and what we know of drumming. So if you would please welcome, from Austria, the great Thomas Lang.
Hello. How's it going? You good? I have to tie my shoes. These are my special, extra fast shoes. Thank you. What's that? Okay. It's still early in the day. Well, first of all, thank you all for being here, and big hand to Mike Johnston. That was really, really inspiring and wonderful. I'm going to be playing the new TD-30, a Roland drum set. This is sort of the flagship of the Roland fleet. It's a really beautiful instrument, and I'm going to show you all the beautiful acoustic sounds that you can play with this kit, and also all the interesting and inspiring non-acoustic drum sounds that you can produce on this. So I'm going to just noodle a little bit, and then we'll have some time. How long do we have? An hour? 45, okay. And then we'll have the opportunity to talk a little bit. I can break some things down, show you some exercises, and any questions are welcome, so enjoy.
Thank you.